Okay. Okay, Kung Fu fans, Dragon Kung Fu fans, all across the world, Haka Kung Fu fans, how you guys doing? Can't tell, I'm a little bit nervous to make this video because there are so many things to make simple, so many things that I can't say, some things that I would like to say just to kind of give you an experience to the best of my ability with words, some pictures, and maybe some movements, okay? But always gotta respect and honor the client, okay? So, first of all, I'm blessed just to even be here. This whole thing has been like a dream, like a movie, all in one time, even with all the pain that came with it. And honestly, right at the beginning, during, sometimes, even still now, there is still a lot of pain. That's why you see right there at the bottom, why one of the words is the word "cool" on top of the basics. Okay. Because there are a lot that go into two simple things. Okay. If you don't see, I got the this is Mount Lofo right behind me. Nice touch, right? So for those who don't know, I'll try to do my best to explain quickly. Make sure you guys like and subscribe too, okay? This is a lot. I'm trying to fit in here to a short amount of time, okay? If you don't know, a little rundown about Southern Dragon and its history, okay? It's still relatively new compared to a lot of other styles, right? I want to say maybe about 400 or 500 years old. I don't want to give any exact dates because I'm not a thesaurus. Okay, that much I do know. Okay, no, not a thesaurus, an encyclopedia. My bad. So obviously, you see the mountain. Okay, out of all the things that I've tried to understand in this journey, is that the 4 or 5 W's come into play a lot to be able to break down a lot of information, right, and internalize it. And just like somebody trying to navigate, okay, the geography, right, you gotta understand not just where you're going. An airplane and a jet really doesn't move in a straight line, believe it or not. When military jets, they go do their thing, they rarely move in a straight line, they're able to turn in midair. Hawks do it too. Okay? So it's more than one way just to get to the center. Okay? So the who, the what, the where, and the why are so important, I believe, when it comes to dealing with any type of art. Because it all came from somewhere, right? And so if that's the case, you gotta try to do the best that you can to try to put yourself in their shoes around that time. Okay? Now, I'm not here to give the story or anything. That's a whole other video that I do plan on making, right? But the fact that you have to travel, okay, through a hard path to get there, right? And the fact that it was in a secluded place, right? And the fact that you had to essentially be invited, know somebody, somebody had to vouch for you to even be there. I believe you are important. Okay? And the fact that the essential, I guess you could say founder, because he's the one who allocated it out to the masses in any way, right? It's awesome that it was a combination of different things. And when you look at a dragon, it's not just an entity. For example, when you see a hawk, okay, you got its talons, you got its beak, you got its wings, its body, okay, cool. But that's its wings. That's its claws. Okay. With the dragon, you have different entities, different major qualities wrapped up within it. Right? So I believe that's important. Okay. Now, as far as my clan goes, I do plan on making a separate video for that, right? But it essentially goes Play, Childhood, Chimichan, my seafood, Play Strong Quarter, right? And Lex. And now, hopefully, you, right? So, as far as Master and Inheritor path goes. So, essentially, when I say all of that to say about why that is important, that you had to go up until when you first got there, it was in a secluded place with a mix of different things wrapped up into one. Okay? To get a specific attribute or an effect, I think is very important. Okay? So when I talk about feeling, what that means to me is that, okay, it's been right at the beginning, you can really complicate it into all of these different notes and nuances and all that stuff. Or you can capture it as a feeling, right? The nervous system. So, and you know how I found that out? Through the basics. All right. So, if you guys don't know, I'm a mock maker, right? And I've been kind of detailing my process there. Find it on Facebook here. I'll share the screen. You can look with the hashtag Longing Diaries. Right? Here, I'll show you. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. All right, this is the last one. Hold on. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can go all the way to the beginning. Right. We got a lot of stuff. It's been about a good year. Right. It's a lot that happened. Right. Try to do the best that I can to watch how the basics carried me and the feeling. Okay, those are going to be the major 2 points I think I'm going to keep touching back on to try to conceptualize everything that I'm trying to say. Okay, let me see. Most recent, no, is there a way that I can, I guess I'll just keep going down. Oh, what? Where's the other ones? Okay, let's just start. All right. I thought I had wrote that down. All right. Let's start. Let's start right here. Right. So the basics. The first. Well, I guess I didn't. It's not on this page. But when we get to this part, then I'll go back on this page. For now, basically, lots of stances. Okay. Well, not when I say lots of stances, I don't mean like a whole bunch of different stances. I mean very simple stances, a lot. Okay. When I say a lot, a lot. And now, when I talk about that feeling, why that's paramount, and how I kind of got to that point, was the fact that the stances will force you. Okay. I don't know how it is in other Southern Dragon clans, okay, but like from what I've heard, the conditioning is very excruciating. Okay, that every martial arts style is essentially painful. They take your body in the process. But from what I read and the videos that I listened to online, is that it's well known in the community that Southern Dragon's condition is it not only painful but excruciating for a while. Not just the fact to root out, essentially it kind of does that on its own, right? Because who wants to be in excruciating pain for a while? Okay? But you go through that for a while. No one's forcing you to, essentially, to drop yourself in that cauldron of like boiling water. Days, weeks, months, despite of all the stuff that may be going on around you, right? Or stuff that's not going on around you. You have to kind of essentially become a part of yourself. Because your body has a built-in mechanism to protect yourself from too much pain. That's your first layer of feeling of your natural reaction to that feeling. Right? Okay, no. That's why you naturally feel more like you want to stand up and keep sitting there. Okay? But you don't run away from that feeling. Sit with it. Okay, becomes something else. For example, okay, now I'm sitting in this stance. Okay, it's one thing to hold in a structured position. It's one thing to do that. Okay, there's a certain feeling and element that produces that. And your seafood says, okay, that's it, stay there. Rather than just try to stand there structurally. But I found out, because you know I'm a Pisces, right? So we got a very sensitive nervous system. And I do a lot of qigong. That's important too. Okay? Don't just stand there for the sake of standing there. Your nervous system has like a natural recording mechanism in it, right? So if you know how to use that, okay, and hold on to that feeling, okay, yeah, you have to drop lower, all that stuff, right? That's what seafood made me do, constantly drop lower, right? But that's with him. When you're on your own, you train yourself differently, right? The time you see yourself, I saw him was more like a test, more than like a class, okay? Because there were simple things at that time, right? So having and sitting with that feeling, okay, and going past the pain, past the discomfort, past the doubt, right? Past the agony, something underneath there. It's almost like the cauldron, right? And remember, this is from the Taoist mountain. They knew how painful this would be at first. They knew that. Okay? But if we talk about terms of yin and yang, right, there has to be a balance. Okay? There's something past that. Any style has your whole standards and it can be painful, but there's something about this one, the way they designed it to be extra painful. Because we all know no pain, no gain. Okay? But what kind of gain do you get after an excruciating amount of pain? What kind of gain is that? Okay? And when I thought about that one day in agony, right? That's one of those things that carried me on. Okay? There's a reason why I'm doing this, right? So sometimes when I try to express some of my videos with the longing, right? Sometimes my iron body is low. Now it's more about a feeling rather than anecdotal notes or theories. Okay? And a feeling is something that Sifu told me this. He was like, no one can tell you how that feels. He knew it the whole time. Alright? Let me tell you, the feeling that you get after you go through that excruciating pain is like all this bliss. I kid you not. Okay. And so now, after that, now you gotta move. So same thing. Weeks, months, just moving. Now, mind you, okay. Okay. When it comes to any type of any type of skill, there's always an infancy in the skill, right? But like my grandmaster Chen Song, right? He had a full tech karate background. He was already a champion. Okay, so Chow Fook, who's known for beating Japanese jiu-jitsu fighters with his own, right, in his box man, right? He liked that and noticed that. Okay. Sifu Q also had a fighting background previously to him. He met the grandmaster. So do I. Okay. Don't know. I do have a boxing background. Okay. And Taekwondo is one of my favorite styles and one of my first favorite styles. Okay. So essentially, one of my skills in those arts was my defense and my footwork. Okay, coordination and my stamina. So sometimes that saved me a lot. Oh, and wrestling background too. I have like the second fastest pin in high school. 5 or 6 seconds. So when you have a base level of fitness attributes, okay. Now, when you understand that process, like Bruce Lee did, right? Now it becomes more of your playing field, right? Your canvas. You're still maintaining integrity and respect for life. But it also kind of enhances the training quality. Your nervous system is already built to move. You've already worked on the baseline fitness. There's about 5 different attributes of fitness. Okay? I do have a personal trainer that too. Anyway. So footwork, me try to put this over. I might have to turn this off. Hold on. This is raw and real, baby. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Footwork is the same amount of pain. Again, the right camera over there. Okay? It's the same amount of agony. Okay? Now, I'm not doing it perfect here. I'm trying my best to stay in the camera. But essentially, that's what it is, okay? Relaxation is a very integral part of it, okay? Things of that nature. Now, the things that I love about it is the sinking power of it, okay? Not rising, not falling, okay? It's almost like gliding, okay? Yeah, or a different color so you can see my feet move, right? And so what the thing that really helped me close to when I started to really take off, right, is this closing action here, right? When you let that hip close like that, that is almost like a, first of all, it feels great on your hips and on your legs, believe it or not, after you learn how to move with the pain. This is really, really painful. This is even more painful. Okay? There are certain muscles and tendons that are activated here that play a very special role to the attributes of lunging. Okay? We'll get to that, but this, without these, and none of the hands crossing the bridge will happen at all. In my opinion, it should be like crossing the bridge in dragon stance. Dragon attributes in your stance fist, in my opinion. Right? It's without that and being able to think like that, none of that stuff is going to happen at all. You can have a whole bunch of hands if you want to. You don't have that attribute of those stances, it's not going to work at all. Period. Okay? So I know some people are waiting for me to get into fighting theories and how the hands move and what's that, because the hands are really essentially, right, inconspicuous. They seem very simple. How's this dragon style? Right? It looks like a karate punch. The attributes is what makes it special, not the fists. Okay, cool, yeah. Touching, okay, when you get really into it, yeah, it's awesome, right? Attributes. You don't have the baseline attributes from the stances. It's not going to work at all. So I want to go into the first technique that I learned. Okay, not the form. The form right now is not important. The attributes and the techniques are. Okay, for my goal. Okay, how people train for other goals, I don't know about. But for me personally, my goal is to be a fighter. Okay, a prize fighter. The way that I train is going to be different. Same thing for self-defense. There's no weapons in MMA. Okay, so how you train for whatever your goal is that, you know, some people train for fitness, some people train for form, okay? But it differs depending on your goal. What people told me is that when you train a fighter, you start out with techniques first. And essentially, it's the same thing. It could be the same thing when you train for self-defense. It's actually two things at once: for self-defense and for combat training. You don't know how to fight. It doesn't matter what technique you go with. I do believe that should either be the first step, which we can already fight quite a bit. But if you don't know how to fight, it doesn't matter what technique you do know how to fight. Down. Then the technique. Right? So one technique at a time. So now, not only do you have to, after sitting in that pain for a while, moving with that pain for a while, okay, now you've got to dish it out. It's time to make the other person pay. Give them what you've been feeling. Okay? Right? Now, if you were to read that from a reader's perspective on the book, okay, you can basically kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. Now, when it comes to, and right even there, can be confusing, especially if it's not broken down in a way that I'm basically having a conversation with. Okay, but as some of you have seen, though, this is totally honest, right? Is even the techniques are misleading, even if you understand everything that I just said. Even the techniques are misleading. Because now you got to figure out what those attributes are and what those attributes do. Okay. And, I don't want to call it a secret per se, right? But you've still got to, and I hope everybody can try to understand this when I'm saying this, is that, I cannot just give this stuff away. As much as I love to talk about it, and I'm really expensive, I'm trying to give you guys my feeling, I cannot just give it to you. I can't. Okay? And, for me, that honestly, how I personally kind of feel about that is that, I'm not saying this is everybody, but there is this, I think, huge misunderstanding of people feeling entitled to information just because other people, there are different ways it's almost like you're exposed to give something free. Now, of course, okay, give samples. Everybody gives samples, right? But when I'm starting to see sometimes, and another YouTuber, Adam Chan, talked about this, and even Jesse Glover talked about this, and even Bruce Lee talked about this, is that there is this certain stigma of expecting the juice just to go to me because I paid and because other people do it. Okay? You guys have no idea what I have to go through personally just to even talk to these guys. Okay? I don't hide anything, whatever's out there is what's out there about me. Okay? But like discipleship, okay, and making bonds with other people, even though there's a lot of distance, it's not easy. Even though I am, I do have a genius, okay? This is something I've been doing my whole life. Okay? I've got great bonds with a lot of great people, and I've been in this position before. This is not easy. Especially being on front of people. This is something I've been doing my whole life. I have a theater background as well. Okay? So I cannot just, even though I am a friendly person, I can't just give it. Even though it's so awesome, I do want to share it. I do seem to have an affinity for it, even how small it may be. Okay, but I do want to do the best that I can to give you a little taste of what essentially you would try to understand, right? If you kind of were in that position, you actually. Again, this is for giving things to the community that did allow me to express myself. Okay? Because I can pay homage to that. So, first technique, Chun Choi. Right? And even the first move Oh, well, that's not the first move of Stuff Love Gun, but the first move I learned was Chun Chun, right? And like Stuff Love Gun shows, it shows this first movement shows what the style is all about. All about. If you really try to break it down, okay. Think about it. Here, let me turn this off. No, no, don't think about it. Use your eyes. Okay. Switch it. Okay. Now, one of the things Sifu always talked to me about. I'm trying to stay in the camera angle here. Move it in a small space. You guys need to see my legs. Okay. Try my best to make this small. We don't have to have it high. Okay. Seafood always, more than anything, always would tell me to relax. That was the biggest thing, is to relax. And that's what makes it hard, because you're in a lot of pain, especially when you're sinking and you're moving slow. And that's a big thing that I really didn't talk about, is even when doing footwork or drilling, right? You guys see me doing it a little bit faster now, right? I can go, right? But it wasn't like that at first. It was just like doing qigong. It was just like doing tai chi. Slow. 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 With the feet. Slow. Trying to stay at the camera angle here. Slow. You guys get the idea, right? Slow. So now when you move it slow like that, right? Then you get to feel, start to get an idea of what the style is trying to tell you, right? Now think about it. What do a lot of styles tell you? A lot of other hockey styles say first. What is the name? After all the training, right? All the stances and the iron bodies, you go, okay. What's the first tenet that they talk about? How to go through attack. Go. Go down the center, like Wing Chun. Go attack. Okay. Right. But look at first style, not the first style, the first movement that I learned. What's the first thing that happens in that movement of an attack? Do I just punch? No. Deflect. Block. Capture. Parry. Frame off. Contact. Defensive responsibility. Closed fist. Open fist. Or open hand. Oh. Relax. Interesting. First move in the attack. This. That. You guys have no idea how long I spent just trying to get this down. Okay, there are certain internals that I am holding with my body that I cannot just say that ideally what they essentially do is they're not just punching like in boxing, but jab, jab. Right? They don't tell you to block, jab. No, they tell you to jab. First thing they tell you to do is attack. Like what I've said, from what I've read, and a lot of other KungFu stars, especially selling masters, attack. Just go, right? But this style is saying it to relax first, sink a lot, and relax, okay? Then move, then attack. And I thought that was interesting. Okay? Like the stuff like done. Right? What's the first move of Sup Luck Done? Lopside. Then punch? Nope. Then punch. So I found that very interesting. Okay. So that made me realize something about how maintaining a feeling within the basics is so paramount. Right? Now, this will be the end of part 1. Right? We'll see how this video does, and in part 2, we can get to a lot of this stuff, what this actually means and what is actually being said here. Okay? And specifically, what does this mean? What is all about this? Right? Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Right? I need this video to get 10 likes. Okay? If this video doesn't get 10 likes, then it's not going to be public.